You are expecting some bad news again for movie theaters. I'm wondering if you see any possible pivot for that industry post-COVID.
The movie theater industry is very difficult for them to pivot. They are in the business of showing movies in theaters. And right now, if the movie is not Spider-Man or, one of these big all-audience tentpole movies, it's very difficult to get audiences to come out to the theater. So I think what we're going to see in 2022 is a shrinkage in the movie theater industry. It's just not that lucrative for studios to release adult-oriented movies in movie theaters, and the impact is going to be on the theaters because the studios are going to put those movies on their streaming services, cutting those theaters out of the equation.
At what point do you think the demand will come back? Because we just showed a chart that 88% of movie theaters have opened pre-pandemic, but of course, it's the amount of people who are willing to come into the theater and experience it. Bob Iger told CNBC he doesn't see the human need to experience things in the real world disappearing. So do you ever see it coming back?
No, I do see it coming back, but it's not going to be the pre-pandemic level. There's study after study has shown that there is a percentage of people, at least for the foreseeable future, who are simply uncomfortable going to the movie theaters. And even if that's a 10, 20% drop off once theaters, quote unquote, come back, that is going to have an effect on these theaters because they depend on that robust attendance. And theaters have been struggling in attendance even pre-pandemic. Putting this on top of it, you're going to see these theater chains really struggle. Other than AMC, which has become one of those meme stocks that, that has gone through the roof based on no fundamentals at all, these theater chains are really struggling.
And have been able to sell stock against that enthusiasm and momentum, too. Yeah, beyond that, it's hard to see. Matt, also, the streaming industry is continuing to just throw massive amounts of money at their products as they battle for limited hours in the day for consumers. FT estimates $115 billion spent by streaming companies invested in new content next year. Who's doing it best right now?
Well, everyone's chasing Netflix. And they were the first mover in this world. They've got a 10-year head start on some of these companies. So, in that world, especially in global content, which is really the battlefield right now, the U.S. is pretty penetrated, pretty saturated, but everyone is chasing that global audience, and Netflix is really the leader. I think one of the better companies to watch is going to be what happens with Warner Brothers Discovery when that merger is approved, ideally in the second quarter. Discovery and Warner Brothers together for an HBO Max product that could have reality TV plus scripted plus movies. That's going to be a pretty compelling product. And I think you're going to see a lot of movement there this next year. Another one is Apple. Apple has sort of been this quiet player in the streaming space, and they are really spending.